This episode of One Hit Thunder is brought to you by DistroKid. Christian Bale was preparing for his role in American Psycho, dressing the part, hitting the gym, getting his teeth redone. There was just one problem. He didn't actually have the part. Leonardo DiCaprio did. What Went Wrong is a podcast dedicated to the idea that every movie is a miracle. Join Lizzie Bassett and Chris Winterbauer every other week as they unearth the chaos and humanity behind Hollywood's biggest flops and most shocking successes. They aren't here to dunk on your favorite films. They're here to celebrate movies. As the New York Times said, they're movie industry people who truly love films and the people who make them. Listen to What Went Wrong wherever you get your podcasts.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
In the late 90s, the Flies had us all in a trance with their brooding alt-rock anthem, Got You Where I Want You, a song that buzzed through movie trailers, TV shows, and the Disturbing Behavior soundtrack like a late summer fever dream. But just as quickly as they soared, they crash-landed into the used CD bins of America. This week, we're joined by Rishi Bahl of Eternal Boy and Four Chord Music Festival to investigate what clipped the wings of this Hollywood-born band made up of actual surf royalty. From the hypnotic riff that defined their biggest hit to deep cuts like She's So Huge and song titles like Sexual Sandwich, we cover it all. Plus, we dig into the James Marsden cinematic universe and question whether Got You might be alt-rock's forgotten gem or just another fly on the wall.
One hit is all you need to make the money guaranteed, and you can live off royalties forever. And it makes me wonder, is it just a wonder, or is it one hit thunder?
All right, so Rishi, welcome to the show. This is your first time on One Hit Thunder. It's a long time coming, and hey, I think you're around my age. I think you might be a little younger than me, but you're still a guy who knows the late 90s very well, right?
I love the late 90s.
Yeah, you're very late 90s. So did you experience the Flies Got You Where I Want You in real time?
I did experience it in real time. I was watching MTV and I saw the incredibly, at the time, weird, controversial music video with Katie Holmes, and I was a huge Katie Holmes guy before Tom Cruise, corrupted her.
Right.
And so I saw it real time. I was 11 years old when I saw the video, and it was the second CD that I ever purchased.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow.
I own a lot of physical media, and I've never owned this album. But the big thing that I remember about this album was that for about 2 decades, this was always at every used CD store for roughly $1. Like, this was like overflowing. They were trying to get rid of their copies of the Flies Holiday Man, and we'll just determine if there's a reason for that or not. You mentioned the music video, which was done as a tie-in to the movie Disturbing Behavior that came out. And my favorite thing that I found related to this is that the music video has Katie Holmes and James Marsden in it. There's an interview with the lead singer of The Flies where he's talking about how that happened, but the entire interview he calls James Marsden James Morrison, and that makes me laugh so hard.
That's pretty apropos with how off the record is too, other than the single. So
Yeah, I gotta say this. So you said this is the second CD you ever owned? Is that what you said? What was the first?
correct. The first CD was Green Day Dookie.
Okay, nice, very nice. That's a cool first CD. My first CD was Vanilla Ice to the extreme. So your first is way cooler than mine. So this album is kind of formative for you in that at this time, when you're getting your second ever CD, you are really giving that thing a chance. Like, you're not just buying that thing and throwing it in a drawer. You're like trying to like that thing, right? Or maybe you didn't have to try that hard.
Oh, no, I had to try very hard.
Okay.
I got that through Columbia House, if you remember the CD.
10
ordering.
CDs for a penny. Yeah.
There you go. This was one of the pennies. My sister, who got me into like music and punk rock and alternative music, had gotten 9, and I got one choice because she was older than me.
Oh, God.
And I
That's
saw
a fair
the video.
trade.
It's bullshit is what it is. And so I got the CD, and again, like, obviously that song was the reason I got it, but that record is absolute cheeks. It is so hard to listen to. I tried listening to it again yesterday, and the same emotions were evoked from it. It was just, it's dry. It's like psychedelic. It's like, it's just really, really an unfortunate first CD or second CD purchase, but the song is really solid. I mean, not to get into that really, but it's just very monotonous.
Yes.
Yeah.
The song is just like, at this point listening to it, it's like, I mean, if I brought that song to like my band and was like, yo guys, I got this sick song, they'd be bored.
It is.
I mean, it'd just be boring.
It drags. It definitely drags.
It's 4 minutes and it could be 2.5, like easily, like with what it's bringing to the table.
I want to get into the specifics of the song, but first I went real deep into the backstory of this band, guys. I don't know if you guys went this deep, but like, I was
the first
kind of
family of surf.
yeah. Oh, yes. But I went beyond that. I wanted to watch they made a documentary about this family that I wanted to watch in preparation for this that I did not. But I want to talk about this for a second. The Flies were formed in Hollywood in 1994. Of course. Why wouldn't they be formed in Hollywood? By Adam and Josh Paskowitz, two brothers who were the sons of Doc Paskowitz. This family, the Paskowitz family, they're described as the first family of surfing. Now, this is where I really went on a rabbit hole with this family, because it gets a little weird, guys. Dorian Doc Paskowitz, born in 1921 and died in 2014 at the age of 93, was a doctor who gave up practicing medicine and decided to become a professional surfer, which I think on the surface, they're kind of cool. Like, I think that's kind of cool. In 1972, he started a surf camp that he ran with his family where campers could live alongside and surf with members of the Paskowitz family. This is how they became the first family of surfing. After Doc Paskowitz married his third wife, Juliet, they began a period of about 25 years of like a transient bohemian lifestyle on the road. They had 9 kids, 8 sons and a daughter, and the entire family lived and traveled together in a succession of used camper vans.
What?
His personal philosophy about education and money and a healthy lifestyle were imposed on his family, and this is where it starts to get weird. 9 kids, and you're just driving around in a van. I mean, no judgment, I guess, but at the same time, some judgment.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how I feel about that. How do you guys feel about that?
Matt, you go first.
I mean, it's definitely got that energy of like
L. Ron Hubbard.
I was L. Ron Hubbard. I was going to say like TikTok van life parents. You know what I mean? Like that idea of like, we don't need the education system to educate our kids. They can learn math by counting rocks on the side of the road. Like,
let me give you some more information so that maybe you can have a little bit more of an idea what's going on here. So This has a little bit of, I hate to say it, a little bit of RFK Jr. energy here coming up.
No.
Because, yeah, hate to throw that in the mix. But he had a consistent theme of health that he really pushed on his family, which cool. I'm not against being healthy, but most mornings the family ate a breakfast of multi-grain gruel. Gruel, guys.
I have never even liked the fact that there is a food that exists named gruel, let alone the fact that people eat that food.
9 kids in a van eating multi-grain gruel, and then they were expected to improve their surfing skills on a daily basis. Several of the kids reached a competitive level of surfing, and then they won contests and earned endorsement income. Now, this is all getting rougher and rougher.
Where does the endorsement income go to, Chris?
Well,
Yeah.
I assume it goes back into the family, right? I mean,
yeah, that's L. Ron Hubbard shit right there. That's Scientology on a boat, Sea Org, 18 kids. That's
eat your gruel
not
and
cool.
break out the boards, kids. You gotta make that van money. Look,
it's like being in a band, Chris.
yeah, but forced upon you. Like, I don't know. I'm not a parent, okay? My girlfriend has a kid. She doesn't force anything on him. He got kind of interested in certain things, guitar and certain things, but that was his own decision.
Right.
She's not making him eat gruel.
No, he doesn't
And
eat
surf.
gruel.
Can we define for the consumer and the listener what gruel is?
I think it's like mush.
It's
I was
like
going to say, imagine the scene in Oliver Twist where the boy says, "Please, sir, have some more."
Boy.
I'm pretty sure they're serving gruel in that scene.
so it's like a mushy whole wheat thing.
Yeah.
I picture it being a little
What are we
gritty.
talking about here, Grig?
Hey, Rishi, I picture it being. Did you grow up watching Ren and Stimpy by any chance?
Yes.
I picture it
Yes.
being one of those like cut scenes to a still image where it's like some sort of bowl of a gray food with maybe some hairs sticking out of it. I picture that being.
Okay. Gruel is, I just looked it up, gruel is primarily made from ground up cereals like oat, wheat, rye, or rice, and cooked in water or milk. It is a thinner version of porridge and often enjoyed as a drink rather than a meal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Can you imagine what dinner was like? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. All I heard is about this gruel for breakfast. So look, guys, they made a documentary about this family. It's called Surfwise. It premiered in 2007, and it was released by Magnolia Pictures. Now, Magnolia Pictures, I've seen that logo come up at the beginning of like documentaries. They made the Jesus Camp documentary, if you guys ever saw that.
I think they did Super Size Me, Morgan Spurlock.
I think you're right, Rishi. This film appeared on a lot of top 10 lists for 2008, and it holds a 98% thing on Rotten Tomatoes. So I guess it's a good doc, okay? Men's Journal lists it as the second best surf film of all time, second only to The Endless Summer. Which
I was going to say Endless Summer.
Which I ask, have these people never seen Point Break? Point Break's pretty badass if you guys haven't seen it.
So do we know where in the 9 kids these 2 guys from the Flies sit? I'm sure you don't, but I mean, I'd be interested to see if they were
like
the eldest.
oldest and youngest, or like the middle kids, or what the deal is.
Are they bucking the trend of surfing and being in a band?
Yeah,
I mean,
I believe
Well,
they
I'm not going to
surfed.
be one of your surfers, Dad. I'm going to form a rock band with a mediocre hit.
I believe they surfed, guys. Here's what I'll say about the doc. I wanted to watch it before this, damn it. I'm going to watch it. It said that interviews in the movie with the Paskowitz kids revealed many of them held deep resentments about their childhood, from having lost the chance to have an education. Yeah. To this part.
so it's America now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
To the inappropriate exposure to their parents' sexual activity.
Oh, God.
Which
Oh,
Don't
God.
love that.
I tried to dive deeper on that, like what exactly they're talking about. And the only thing I can imagine is that they're living in a van and
That's what I was going to say.
And
They probably just know every time that mom and dad are going to
Right.
Bone Town.
Right. I didn't see anything about
I don't
like,
think they were doing like a display for them.
Yeah. I don't think it's like the scene from Eastbound and Down where let the boy watch. I don't think it's that sort of situation. But they also said there was an extensive list of rules imposed upon them by their father. But by the time they were filming this documentary, all of the kids had reconciled with the parents. So they weren't still holding this resentment. To try to put things into perspective a little bit, as far as maybe a positive spin on this family, in August 2007, Doc Paskowitz launched the Surfing for Peace project to deliver surfboards to the small surfing community in Gaza. He had to persuade the Israeli government to let him deliver the surfboards because this is after Hamas took over Gaza in June 2007. So Israel was only letting in essential humanitarian supplies. So Doc Paskowitz founded this Surfing for Peace with his son David, as well as Kelly Slater, who literally is the only surfer. I was thinking to myself, can I name a surfer? Kelly Slater. And I had to think to myself, wait, Kelly Slater, is that a surfer or a volleyball player? But yes, that is a surfer. Kelly Slater was involved in this after Doc Paskowitz had read an article in the LA Times which highlighted the lack of surfboards in Gaza. So I thought, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, but damage done, Chris.
Yeah.
I know.
9 kids. Geez, started a shit band called The Flies with a great song. I mean,
We'll get into the shit band in a
Great's
second.
doing a lot. Great's doing a lot of heavy lifting on that sentence.
Yeah. Anyway,
is there any other facts about The Flies we should know about
Well,
before? Or their family?
the family, as far as it goes, there was a review on Rotten Tomatoes from a super reviewer on Rotten Tomatoes who basically said that I don't know what to think of Doc and the way he raised his children. All I know is that I wouldn't have wanted to grow up that way. Doc seems like he had the best intentions, but still have this feeling of hate towards the way he chose to bring up his children. I don't understand how he can think he did the right thing. He closed them off to the world and prevented them from getting an education. He wants us to believe they got the education they needed and that public education is not important. I liked listening to his kids talk about their experiences and how it affected them, but I hated having to listen to Doc speak his weird views on life. Even with how I feel about Doc's choices and beliefs, I still don't believe he is a horrible father. He was with his kids and he obviously loved them. He just didn't allow them the basic freedoms most kids have. His kids called him a dictator. Surfwise is a well-made and entertaining documentary about a different family and the ways it affected all of them. So, having not seen it and going off what this super reviewer said and reading about it, seems like a wacko, but maybe he had some good intentions. I don't know. That's all. Make your own decisions about that, you know?
It's definitely an odd upbringing, but, who am I to describe what is really odd and not odd?
And it wasn't these brothers who started the Flies. It wasn't their fault. It's just, it's how they grew up. It's almost like the Flies and any success they had with it was in spite of all of that.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, impressive in its own way, I guess.
Yeah, but are they nepo? Are they nepo
I
babies?
don't think
know.
being the kids of a somewhat famous surfer is really nepo baby into the music industry.
It's
like
You never know.
It feels like they grew up in the kind of a small cult here. I don't want to put that on it, but it really sounds cultish. I know, just denying kids a public education and also denying them the social aspect of that, even
Exactly.
that's the bigger thing, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they had a lot
the
of
social part for a kid like that.
I think Rishi, you'd probably agree with me. I talk about this a lot. Playing music really gave me, and you and I are very like-minded in, I don't know, the way we look at the world. I know that. And I think a lot of that for me was informed by traveling and meeting all kinds of different people, so I think there is a plus to that.
There's a quote from John Waters that I always think of where he says it's really hard to be racist if you just travel once in a while.
Yeah, I mean,
like with the mindset being like you meet people that are different than the people you grew up with, and like you start to see people for who they are, which is just people.
Well, yeah, and to take that one step further, it's I mean, even being in a public schooling education where you get open to some new ideas and different people. I mean, they were not afforded that basic necessity too. So
right,
you compound that with other social factors. I mean, they were doomed to begin with.
Yeah. So the fact if they turned out, I mean, I don't know, even normal enough to start a band and have this sort of success, I do think, Rishi, you alluded to this. I want to talk about the song now. There is something cool about this song. I will say the things I think are cool about it are the I think that is good. It's
falsetto, yeah.
It's very Werewolves of London.
Very much so.
And I do think there's something about the chorus of this song, and it's almost a Chris Cornell delivery. Did you guys ever pick up on the Chris Cornell-ishness of the delivery in this chorus?
Not until you said it, but now I can 1000% hear that.
I can't too. For me, it was the riff that
it's that
beginning
guitar
riff.
That guitar, like surfy mixed with alternative vibe that opening riff has. But Chris, what I was thinking about when I was listening to this song, so the big thing that I remember about the song is the guitar riff, and that I don't think I like it as much now, but as a kid, I loved when it turns into almost like a pseudo reggae song with the way the music.
That's the terrible part.
That part's
the bridge.
I like the music of it. I hate the vocals happening in that. But at that point, the later half of this song, the bass is cranked so much louder than the rest of the music. It's wild.
Yeah, Rishi, talk about it.
So for me, the song is so basic. And the basicness is why I think, obviously, leading by the riff, then the falsetto vocals. Then you get to the bridge, and it's like, that's what you chose to do to differentiate and climax the song.
I know.
It's mind-boggling to me that, like, a producer or they were like, oh, cool, we're going to, like, speak gibberish in tongues in the bridge and do this weird. It really was perplexing now. And again, listening to it again now, I know why I liked it when I was 11 or 12, but the song does not hit nearly as hard as it did when I was that age.
Well,
No.
What I wanted to say about that is it makes sense to me. We've seen it so many times, like a song that, like, I'm trying to think of an example. The dumbest example I can think of, because it wasn't really a hit, but like think about that final song on Dookie where FOD, where it's like it stays quiet until it finally hits at the end. Like we've seen that happen. That's a formula where then
and Green Day does that a lot. They do that a lot.
Yeah, and it works a lot of times, and I guess it worked here. And it would make sense to me that you have a verse, a chorus, where it's kind of like a down, and then it finally kicks in, and it's like that explosion, that release, and it feels good. What I don't get is the freaking scat man Rastafarian delivery of the other brother. I watched him perform this on Conan O'Brien from 1998, and I'm like, I guess it's a product of like, this band is a combination of like post grunge and also being influenced by like 311 or something, which 311, that's a whole other thing we can get into, because I sometimes think 311 has like a few decent songs like that are kind of cool. But then sometimes I think 311 is like the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. When that Down song first came out.
Oh, I love that song.
That song, Matt, that song fucking sucks. That is the epitome of everything I hate about music. When that song came out, I was very much into like ska and punk music and stuff. And it kind of like walked that line of almost being in that world. But the second that rapper guy started, I was like,
it is
the fucking most horrible thing I've ever heard. That part of that song is one of the worst pieces of music I've ever heard. Chill.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever hear
you show Doug S.A. Martinez a little bit more respect.
No, I will show him no respect for that part. Do you guys know that band Anal Cunt?
Yeah.
They have a
Yes,
song.
I do.
They have a song called 311 Sucks that just goes and then it just breaks into you fucking suck. Like it is very I mean
You should try to get them for the Krista Makes and talk about that song.
I
would
believe
love
that
to
guy-
see you talk to them about that.
I believe that guy died. I think the Anal Cunt guy died.
No. All of 311 is still alive, homeboy.
No, Anal Cunt.
Oh, anal cunt.
Dude, I'm
Oh,
crying
you talking about
laughing.
311 or Anal
I'm
Cunt?
talking about 311, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably burning a bridge here with 311. But 311, if you're listening, please come on Krista Makes a Podcast. No, also 311, if you're listening, I like a lot of your songs.
Oh, God.
I just think that like Down
This
is
is
like
so
one of the
good.
worst songs I've ever heard.
So good.
I'm just being
No, I
honest
love
here,
it.
guys.
Dude, I can only be honest, and I could not agree more. And that bridge,
There
the
you go.
bridge is just so cringe. I can imagine like somebody in 1998 with their Jinkos who's like thinking about going to the Family Value store would hear that bridge and be like, oh man, like that's kind of rad. But like the irony of what I know about them now and the surf culture and then now I think about the album art. Like, who's on the album art too? Like a dude upside down jumping out of a plane. Like, was that one of the weird 9 kids? Like, who knows?
Dude, that was extreme sports.
Well,
that was extreme sports at the time.
So there's something about this band that I figured out when I was doing the research that I never pieced together, but I do think credit where credit's due, right? I'm going to read you this quote
Oh boy.
that I was talking about where he keeps calling James Marsden James Morrison.
Well, I wanted
because I think that this unlocks how the Flies happened, right? Like all things considered, I think that this is a band that most of us should never have heard of. But here's the quote that I found. We met Katie and James Morrison, and they were doing this teenage whacked film. And we were like, oh, that sounds kind of wild. We have this song called I Got You Where I Want You. You should see if you like it. And they did, which we thought was cool. And I said, well, here's the deal. If you put that song in your movie, then you have to come out and do our music video. But secretly, we really didn't want James Morrison in our music video. But what I'm saying is this band, I think just because they're not on a major label, they're on some label called Trauma. I feel like they just hustled their way into a movie soundtrack and tricked that movie into funding a music video with, at the time, one of the stars of the biggest
Okay,
teen
you're stretching
dramas
now,
on
my
TV.
boy. My boy, you're making a narrative. I don't know. Who knows? Trauma could have been a subsidiary. I mean, we have no idea. But
They
it'd
were
be
part
funny.
of. Oh my God, Chris, we just talked about this. They were on Delicious Vinyl. Which was Young M, the label
Was that a
Young
hip-hop
MC
label?
was
Young
on.
MC, yeah.
Yeah, they were under Interscope. It was a subsidiary of Interscope Records. It had Bush, No Doubt, Funk
yeah.
Junkies, and The Flies. Those were the only bands ever signed to Trauma.
Dude, I have so many things to talk to you guys about it just in the past 5 minutes. First of all, I said it's so funny that they don't know his real name because I said the Flies are what I describe them as James Marsden music because every James Marsden movie of that time had a Flies song on the soundtrack. Dude, I'll get to that. I got to tell you guys, first of all, we're calling this song a hit. It peaked at number 104 on the Hot 100, which that does not qualify. It went to number 8 on the rock charts and number 5 on the
Number
alternative
1 on
charts.
Heat Seekers.
Does Heat
We don't
Seekers
count Heat Seekers, but no.
In 90 it did.
But it is, I would say that this one counts in the sense that it is undeniably the only song any human being has willingly heard by the Flies. Like, I saw that they had a second single that did 32 on the modern rock charts, but like, this is the old. I would pay someone $1 if they could sing to me even a moment of the other single from the Flies that they remember.
I kind of thought that other Flies song, which was called, what was it called?
Don't say it, Chris.
She's So Huge.
She's So Huge. I think it's a little bit better than this song, actually.
Oh god.
I thought it was a little bit better than this song, to be honest, because I think this song is so boring. Like that song at least was like a little bit upbeat. It was like jangle pop.
It was also only
like,
2 minutes and 40 seconds, which helps out a ton.
Yeah.
It just
I thought it was
it drudges too much. I mean, like if there was some deviation with the, you know, like I think the bridge they do, and then the outro they do like a decrescendo at the end. Like it's like so. Actually, now I'm saying it out loud, it actually does suck, because if your decrescendo and the end of the song is what you're looking forward to, that is not a positive thing about a song. So
this song gets less exciting at the end. Just hold on. Look. I want to go back to the James Marsden part. Hey, anybody listening, do you know who James Marsden is? He's on the HBO show where it's like futuristic. What's it called? Westworld. He's the star of Westworld. If you're a 30 Rock fan, he's one of Liz Lemon's boyfriends. He's in Sonic.
Teenage movies in the 90s, he was all over.
He was also, I would say, most famously Cyclops in all of the X-Men movies from like...
I don't watch that bullshit.
I'm just saying, that's probably his most famous role. But yes, continue.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
He was the
one question I have.
He was the star of one of the biggest franchises in film history, but sure.
Oh, whatever. He was on 30 Rock. He was one of Liz Lemon's boyfriends.
Boo-hoo,
First
Matt.
question I had is I kind of like this guy. Like in his roles, I'd be like, oh, I kind of like James Marsden. But is James Marsden a creep? I ask that because he was one of those people that went to court to like in support of that rapist on the Nickelodeon show.
Oh no.
As did a couple of the members of Boy Meets World, the cast members, as did Taran Killam from Saturday Night Live, from that documentary about the other creep from the Nickelodeon
What Nickelodeon
shows.
guy are we talking about?
The guy who was Dennis on so look, the guy who was Dennis on Head of the Class, that like, you know what I'm talking about?
Did you miss this like giant moment, Rishi, last year?
I mean, I remember there was a documentary that talked about
Set.
like
Quiet on Set, yeah. So there was the producer,
Dan Schneider.
What's his name?
Dan Schneider.
Dan Schneider, okay? Dan Schneider was the producer of all these big Nickelodeon shows, but he was kind of creepy. Like he'd zoom in on like Ariana Grande's feed and like all kind of like, and he treated these kids in a real creepy way. But he never. He's terrible, believe me. But he never like did anything actually illegal.
Okay.
But there was somebody, and they called him Pickle Boy on
Brian
All That.
Peck. Brian Peck was his
Brian
name.
Peck, who was actually a child rapist. Ooh. He was like raping the one kid and maybe multiple kids. And he got found guilty of this. And they had the sentencing. And when they were doing the sentencing, all these like celebrities came to like
his defense.
It came to his defense, like came to the court proceeding, including a couple members of the cast of Boy Meets World, right, Matt? You love Boy Meets World, right? They're
it was
so cool.
Alan Thicke, Ryder Strong, Will Friedle. I'm looking at the list right now. Kimmy Robertson, like
Alan
you said, James
Thicke
Marsden.
or Robin Thicke?
Alan Thicke.
Alan, rest in peace to Alan.
Thicke.
Maybe.
But so the issue is, I see both sides of it, of what happened. These people were absolutely wrong to be on his side of it. But what it sounded like was that this guy had been working for so many years and had built relationships with all these other kids. And I think he put the perspective of like, I never did anything to you guys. You know that that's not the type of person I am. This person's trying to smear my name. And then now that they have more information, they're like, oh, fuck, we were wrong. But I will say James Marsden still has not apologized. Like the cast of Boy Meets World came out and said like,
he knows
hey,
all about the cast of Boy Meets World and everything that they apologize
Well, it
for.
was a big deal. They did a podcast episode about it. But there's a list here where it says in 2025, the Cornells, Ryder Strong, Will Friedle, I'm trying to see the other ones. A few other names.
How about Taran Killam?
But our boy did not, is the moral of the story.
James Marsden
did not.
James Marsden stands by his defense of Brian Peck. That's what we're getting at here.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about James Marsden. Make your own do your own research. Dive into James Marsden. I don't know whether he's a creep or not. I kind of liked him on 30 Rock, but maybe he's a terrible person in real life. Who knows? Disturbing Behavior. It's a 1998 teen sci-fi psychological horror film starring James Marsden and, of course, Katie Holmes. The plot follows a group of high school outcasts who discover that their seemingly perfect classmates are part of an elaborate mind control experiment. It's basically the Stepford Wives.
It's actually a remake of a Canadian horror movie from the 80s called Strange Behavior that they did in the 90s. But
you guys are smart.
I'm just a nerd.
He does a horror movie podcast.
I do a horror movie podcast too.
I'm a horror movie guy too.
I'm trying to see who else, because there's a couple other like Ethan Embry's in this.
Oh,
as
my favorite '90s actor. I'm serious.
Catherine Isabel is in there. If you've ever seen the Ginger Snaps movies, she's a cutie.
Rishi.
Yes.
Guess what?
You're friends with him.
You like Ethan
He's
Embry?
my favorite '90s actor of all time.
You know what's funny about that? I'm 99% sure he was at, there's a coffee shop in Greensburg where I live called The White Rabbit. And the one day, Ethan Embry was just in line and PJ was talking to him and didn't even know it was Ethan Embry. And he was just like having a normal conversation, just like you would with a stranger. And then after he left, our friend who owns that coffee shop, he's like, that was Ethan Embry, right? And he's like, no, I didn't know that was Ethan Embry.
Why was he in Greensburg?
I don't know why he was there, to be honest. But pretty cool. He was
Ethan
just happened to be
Empire
there.
Records.
It was for something about the fact that he was Ethan Embry.
He tweeted Eternal Boy, my band, and
Nice.
Whenever we released our last record, and was like, "Yo, I'm digging this," and I
love that.
took a screenshot
Ethan
of it.
Embry?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's apparently
pretty
a
cool.
super chill, nice, easy to talk to dude. So
Yeah. Well,
we should get Ethan Embry on this podcast.
So this song is what it is. It gets the success it does. She's So Huge, the song that Matt and I both think is better than Got You Where I Want To, but Rishi despises. It was featured in the 2001 film Sugar and Spice, which is a teen black comedy, this movie stars Marla Sokoloff. Do you guys know who that is?
Love Marla Sokoloff.
I knew. It's Gia from Full House.
Yeah. Gia from Full House. She was in one of my favorite teen flicks that no one remembers, Whatever It Takes, from 2000.
I know that movie.
I don't know the movie, but speaking of Boy Meets World, Real Side, Trojan War is my favorite.
Trojan War fucking fucks. That movie rules.
Sorry. Anyway,
That movie fucking fucks.
back to what we were saying.
This movie, Sugar and Spice. So Marla Sokoloff, Mina Suvari, and you guessed it, James Marsden. It's the story of a group of high school cheerleaders who conspire and commit armed robbery when one of them becomes pregnant and is desperate for money. The movie was originally titled Sugar and Spice and Semi-Automatics, but the title was toned down following Columbine. This song, She's So Huge, that Rishi hates, is also on the Crow Salvation soundtrack. This is the third installment in the Crow film series. It was a direct-to-video after a limited theatrical run, and it got overwhelmingly negative reviews. But surprisingly, it stars Kirsten Dunst.
Yep.
I was like,
Is this right after the Brandon Lee one?
No. So this is the third one. So this is after City of Angels.
Okay.
Which also didn't do particularly well. There's we've always talked about on Horror Movie Night maybe doing I think it's the fourth Crow movie, Crow Wicket Prayer, because Edward Furlong plays the Crow. And it's starring it's Edward Furlong, Dennis Hopper, Danny Trejo, Tara Reid, and David oh my god, I can't think of his name. The guy who played Angel in Buffy.
Wow.
But yeah, it's like a stacked cast for a straight. Oh, and Chris, your girl that played Sloane in Entourage.
What? PJ just yesterday sent me like an Instagram post of her.
Yeah.
I forget her name. It's like starts with the E, right? Like in.
Yeah, it's a long name that I am not going to attempt to say because I fumble with every word. But yeah, that for some reason in 2005 they really decided to stack the cast for the straight to DVD Crow sequel.
Yeah, but what was the Flies song on those soundtracks.
Not as noteworthy, only on the Crow's Salvation.
Got it.
Hey there, One Hit Thunder listeners. Are you ready to take your music to the next level? Well, get ready to rock because this episode is brought to you by DistroKid, the ultimate digital music distribution service for artists like you. With DistroKid, you can easily upload your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music, reaching fans all around the globe. But that's just the beginning. DistroKid offers a ton of awesome features like Hyperfollow, which helps you promote your releases and get pre-saves on your songs, all for free. But wait, there's more. The DistroKid app is now available on iOS and Android. With the app, you can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. This powerful tool allows you to put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time. But that's not all. DistroKid has just launched a brand new feature called Instant Share, allowing you to easily share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more. With Instant Share, you can keep your music streaming at the highest quality while making the best impression possible. So what are you waiting for? Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities. Possibilities that I know all about because I've been using DistroKid for years. It's seriously great. If you haven't used it before, you're going to love it. And One Hit Thunder listeners get an exclusive offer, 30% off your first year with DistroKid by signing up at distrokid.com/VIP/OneHitThunder. That's distrokid.com/VIP/OneHitThunder.
This episode is brought to you by eBay. We all have that piece. The one that's so you've basically become known for it. And if you don't yet, fashionistas, you'll find it on eBay. That Miu Miu red leather bomber, the Custo Barcelona cowboy top, or that Patagonia fleece in the 2017 colorway. All these finds are all on eBay, along with millions of more main character pieces backed by authenticity guarantee. eBay is the place for pre-loved and vintage fashion. eBay, things people love.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase of 16 weeks, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
This episode is brought to you by Tic Tac. Summer tastes like Tic Tac. Tantalize your taste buds this sunny season with citrus adventure and orange. 2 everyday flavors that bring summer in every. Tic Tac Citrus Adventure is a yummy, vibrant medley of lemon, lime, and mandarin. And Tic Tac Orange is the perfect mix of tangy and sweet. Visit us at Tic Tac USA on social to refresh your summer with Tic Tac.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
Lowe's knows that no matter your paint or stain project, saving is at the top of your to-do list. Save now with buy one, get one half off select paints, stains, and primers from top brands like Valspar, HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams, and Cabot via Visa gift card rebate. Find more Memorial Day deals now at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Offer valid 5/15 through 5/28.
Hey, One Hit Thunders, Thunderheads, Thunder Buns. All right, I'll just go with One Hit Thunder listeners. This is Krista Makes, guitarist and vocalist for Less Than Jake, and host of Krista Makes a Podcast, a songwriting podcast where every week I'm joined by an amazing guest to break down the writing, recording, and release of one iconic song that they have written. In our giant evergreen back catalog of episodes, we've had rock legends such as Dee Snider and Huey Lewis, punk rock favorites such as Mark Hoppus, Fat Mike, and Brett Gurewitz, up-and-coming artists of today such as Liz Stokes of the Beths and Genesis Owusu, and even some of the artists that have been featured on One Hit Thunder. The show is even produced by One Hit Thunder host Chris Fafalius. What more could you possibly ask for? Krista Makes a Podcast is available for free on all the places you listen to podcasts, and new episodes come out every Monday. I guarantee you'll like it, or we'll give you your money back.
Rishi, since you're so intimately familiar with this entire album, I listened to the whole thing yesterday. That was a painful experience because some of these songs, The Gods of Basketball, Girls Are the Cruelest, and the album closer, Sexual Sandwich. It sounds like made up songs. I've used this example before. It sounds like made up songs that a fake band on the animated series Doug. Well, not Sexual Sandwich, but The Gods of Basketball and Girls Are the Cruelest sound like that.
Give me your car. Groove is where you find it.
Yeah. Like, really, this band sounds very much like
Sugar Ray.
What?
The
Yeah, but
song
also
names
like
and the vibe is very Sugar Ray-ish with a tinge of not goodness.
yeah, also like this blend of like funk and not knowing whatsoever what you want your band to sound like and just doing whatever. Rishi, I'm not going to say their name on the podcast. I'm going to say it after we're done, but there's a band from Pittsburgh from the 90s that I could probably say that you will start laughing when I bring them up.
I think I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And just the like you don't know what your sound is whatsoever, and so you just do whatever, just I don't know. It just, you don't know who you are at all. This band did not develop its sound whatsoever and just lucked into something here, probably from being in Hollywood and knowing James Marsden, aka James Morrison or something. I don't know what's going on with this band.
There's one review that I think nailed it, where they just said, the quote that I saw was, "The Flies would be wingless if it wasn't for their guitarist," which I think really sums up the whole issue with this album. Is like, they've got a somewhat competent guitar player who could come up with some cool riffs, and then there's the rest. That's in this.
What I thought was really interesting, I don't know if you guys noticed this, if you went on the Wikipedia page, which I'm sure you did for the Flies. Years active, 1994 to 2002, then done. Then just the year 2008. Or 2008, then done. And now 2024 to present.
Which is debatable. So in 2008, they on their MySpace page, let's timestamp that it was definitely 2008, they released an iTunes single that was a re-recording of Got You Where I Want You, and one of the most god-awful covers of Hey Jude by the Beatles I've ever heard in my fucking life.
The most unnecessary cover ever. Like, and here, look, I'm gonna say something in defense of the Flies real quick. That cover of Hey Jude, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, it's not like so bad that you're gonna laugh about it, but it's just like, when I listen to it, I'm like, why did you guys do this?
There's no reason for it. And
this doesn't need to exist. And the re-recording of Got You Where I Want You, you'll love this, Rishi. I listened to it,
bridge.
And, you know, it's like...
the bridge on repeat.
No, the bridge... what I will say, the bridge part, like that Rasta, whatever he's trying to do there, is way louder in the mix. It's like way more present. I'm like, oh, God, it's there's more of that.
Is this on Spotify? Is this re-recorded Got You Where I Want You?
It should be. I would imagine it
I
is.
listen to it on YouTube, but probably.
That's where I listen to it too. And then to clarify, Rishi, the 2004 thing was that they showed up and played
2024.
The 2024 they played 2 charity festivals in California, which is great news for you because that means that there's still time to book them for 4-chord in September.
There you go.
I never got to see them. However, I do want to say that it gets worse, ladies.
Oh no. Wait, before
Go ahead.
Let's end it with something worse, because I was going to defend them one more time.
Go ahead.
Save it. Save your worst thing. I was in their defense in 2024 when they played these shows. One of the performances was at the Big Kahuna Concert for a Cause, which is Orange. It's like an Orange County festival for kids with special needs and special education programs, which I think is really cool. And the other thing they played was the Rhythm and Resin Festival, which is a free event that brings together the world's best surfers, passionate music lovers, and a community that cherishes its artistic roots. Not as cool as the other one, but in defense of them, they got together and played this thing for a good cause.
Did people show up to these shows? Is there any YouTube evidence that this actually happened?
I could not. I tried to find like the lineup for the Big Kahuna Concert for a Cause. Could not find it.
Oh no! It was just the Flies headlining.
Maybe, but what I'm saying is, I think that maybe these Paskowitz brothers might be good dudes who maybe just shouldn't have played music, even though the one who doesn't do the Rasta part, I think he's an okay singer. I don't think he's a bad singer. Rishi, where does it get worse?
It gets worse with their next record. They followed up their Holiday Man smashing one-song hit with a really shitty second single, as noted many times, with a record called Outta My Way in 2000. Yes. Now, you got to think, in 98, they were a little fresh. They were, kind of combining certain genres. 2000, this is now full-fledged alternative pop rock. Now Blink is on the horizon, Lit is there, and they are now trying to compete, and there is nothing on this record. Listen to the whole thing yesterday. There is absolutely nothing on this record that even comes close to anything that is pertinent of a discussion, let alone a podcast devoted to any song that would work here.
Right. And this was a stretch anyway for calling this a one-hit wonder, because it wasn't a hit. It was in disturbing behavior. I will say that this chorus is pretty memorable. I think a lot of the people listening right now will be like, yeah, I remember that.
Did you read
chorus.
what the song is about?
I did.
It's about picking up girls. That's like the whole concept of the song is like getting a girl's number. Like now I got you where I want you, which I don't love that.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting a girl's number.
No, I just don't like the idea of getting a girl's number and saying, now I've got you where I want you.
It feels like
maybe it's because I'm watching season 5 of You right now, but that feels really uncomfortable.
Or Handmaiden's Tale.
Yeah, like seriously.
That is perplexing. But I'll tell you what. I've listened to a lot of your podcasts now over the last week or so. Very, very interesting. Natalie Imbruglia one was very, very good. The Torn one, is that Natalie Imbruglia?
Yeah, that's Natalie Imbruglia.
Yeah.
Yep.
With a Vaughn brother was on that one. I don't know how you guys define a one-hit wonder, and I would like for you to articulate to me what defines a one-hit wonder.
I think Chris and I have different versions of how we define it.
Okay.
But there's the version that we utilize, which is Billboard's definition, which is an artist that only had a single top 20 hit on the Hot 100. That is like their baseline. And we try to follow that. I think that there are these weird other things where a band maybe didn't have like the biggest mainstream hit, but they had like this one-off weird song on a very specific niche genre. And that's where I think the Flies do count, is like they had this random alternative rock song that made it into the top 10 of the alternative radio play. And then the closest they came was like 32, I think, for the other one, which I don't think even means that the radio is playing you that much on alternative radio. I feel like alternative radio, they are playing whatever the top 20 songs are and maybe debuting the occasional new single to see if it gets any traction. So that's Chris is very focused on if it's at least a top 40 hit at a bare minimum, I think.
Well, 40's even a stretch. Top 20, I think. And also, we do have exceptions, Rishi. Like, we did an episode about Cisco for the Thong Song. He had another song
that charted higher.
Yeah, that was...
Thong Song went to number 2, and his song Incomplete went to number 1.
But most people consider him a one-hit wonder because no one remembers that other song. So, like... There are things. There's also
the ride the wave rule. We haven't talked about it in a while, but there was this concept called ride the wave, which when we were first starting the podcast, we looked into like what the different rules are. And one of the things said, if they have a song that did somewhat decently, but it's literally riding the coattails of the big hit, you can like almost erase that, because like maybe it was just, hey, this song's so hot, let's immediately drop a second single that will get caught up in the fervor. But like if that song like got to 20 and then immediately dropped to 70 the next week, like that's not a true hit. That's just a song kind of getting caught up in the energy.
Time is also the ultimate test here. Is do people remember this stuff? Like, it doesn't have to just come down to charts alone. And Rishi, I'm sure you'd agree. Everyone get ready to take a drink. I'd love to have one hit. One hit would be great. I wouldn't mind being a one-hit wonder as opposed to a no-hit wonder. You know, like there's nothing wrong with having a hit. You can sustain a career off of that if you continue making cool music. And, you know, good examples. Mighty Mighty Bosstones, Jimmy Eat World. Like, you know, Jimmy Eat World, the middle was a hit, and they never had anything come close to that again. And to me and you, they're a legendary band. To some random person, they're a one-hit wonder.
We're talking, I mean, to me, when you look at a band like The Verve Pipe and you compare it to like Jimmy Eat World, right? There's a million factors that play into that, right? I mean, the timing of when The Verve Pipe came out versus Jimmy Eat World. Obviously, radio was still a massive piece for Jimmy Eat World, but radio in 90, I don't know when that song came out, it had to be 96, 97.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't really do anything after that record. I mean, there was nothing worth, but I just saw a video of the Verve Pipe playing in LA at like the Jane Fonda Theater for 4,000 people.
Yeah.
They might be, dude, they're not like maybe a style or a band that you or I followed. They might be. That's the thing, man. You never know the kind of cult followings that bands have, especially if they're outside of the realm of something you might listen to. So
true.
I'm often surprised.
I mean, the big example is regular friend of the show and recent tour mate of Chris, like Wheatus. Wheatus constantly playing sold out shows still, like 25 years after their song.
Yeah, but there's a nuance to that, to all that too, right? I mean, like the big anniversaries and the nostalgia that millennials have is really something that I don't know other generations. Well, I'm not going to say that, but we have a very special place for this nostalgia that can put it on steroids to some degree.
Every band and artist is its own thing, man. Everybody like finds their own path.
I agree. But like for, you know, obviously not to bring up Punchline, but obviously being from Pittsburgh and obviously Punchline permeated outside of Pittsburgh, but Punchline's a very important band to Pittsburgh. And I was just at a show last night and somebody had a really old Punchline shirt. It had to be from like 2002. I'm sorry. It was the Club Laga show that we did together in 2003, June of 2003.
And someone had a shirt from that?
You had custom shirts made for that show.
Oh, yeah.
They had the custom shirt for that show. And I was just talking with them about it. They were talking about Punchline playing 4-chord and so on and so forth. And what Punchline meant to that person, like Heart Transplant, they don't think about Billboard charts. To them, Heart Transplant was like the top 5 song in the world in 2003. Yeah. So
all perspective.
Exactly.
It's all perspective.
Exactly.
Dude, there's so many bands, Rishi, I guarantee there's so many like punk bands and stuff that to you and I, they're like this enormous band or whatever, but like in the grand scheme of things, I could think of 10 off the top of my head that were,
Well, how much fun do we have when we do the Patreon episodes after the drafts, right? When we do our album draft episodes, there's these punk albums that mean so much to us. And then we do like the post-show thing where we're looking at like how many units it sold, and it's like a couple thousand. Like it was like oh, they sold 100,000 of that record that to you and I we would put as like one of the most important records that's ever been printed in our lives.
I just found it funny when Matt, you and I were going back and forth about which songs to choose. I was actually very impressed by how many songs had already been done, and just kind of what the litmus test was for you guys. But it makes sense. You could make a case for any band that had a decently popular song that it's a hit, but you need kind of quantifiable proof to show
There's
that.
a difference. I haven't said this in a while, but I've said before on the show, there's a difference between a one-hit wonder and an artist who has a signature song, right? Like, because there are those too. Like, Billy Joel has a signature song. It's Piano Man, but he's not a one-hit wonder. There might be someone out there.
Billy Joel is not a one-hit wonder.
He's not a one-hit wonder. But there is a reason. There is a world where you could believe like someone who's like Gen Z or Gen Alpha, that might be the only Billy Joel song that they know because it's persistent for decades in
same
a
with
way.
us and our parents and what they listen to. It's like that generation removed, so that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So, but that's the big line that we have to draw in the sand. Sometimes it's like this is just the signature song of an artist who had quite a few hits, but like they fell off over time.
I got to tell you, I don't think. No offense to these guys. I don't think the Flies have this sort of cult following. I don't think we're going to get to the Thunder or Blunder part, and we're also going to talk about Eternal Boy and Four Chord Fest for a minute. But before we do either of those things, do you guys want to play a game? I brought a game.
Always.
Oh, wait, that sounds great.
Here's the deal. If you can get it without the multiple choice, it's 2 points. If you can get it with the multiple choice, it's 1. You can buzz in by saying Flies.
All right.
If you know it, actually, we'll get to it here. This first question, if you get in the ballpark without the multiple choice, I'll give you credit. But question 1, what is the typical lifespan of a housefly? Go.
48 hours.
That's incorrect.
I'm going to say fly. I'm going to say 1 week.
That's also incorrect. Neither of you guys get a point on this one. It's actually, if you would have said somewhere in this ballpark, it's 15 to 30 days.
Really? I almost said 2 weeks, and I would have been at least close. I would have been on the 15
I
portion.
would have gave you credit for that. But
damn
it's
it.
15
I'm
to 30
disappointed
days.
in myself.
All right. Here we go. Question 2. You will need the multiple choice no matter what.
Okay.
Here. Which one of these movies was James Marsden not in?
Okay.
Not in. A, The Notebook. B, There Will Be Blood. C, Sex Drive. Or D, Anchorman 2?
Flies.
Go ahead.
I think it's B, There Will Be Blood.
That's correct. Matt got a point. By the way, guys, speaking of the Flies,
Sex Drive has the song that's in Sex Drive, isn't it?
Sex Drive also has Got You Where I Want You in it, and James Marsden is also in that. There are 3 James Marsden movies with the Fly songs on it.
Oh,
I believe.
Chris, I got confused. I thought we were talking about James Morrison.
Yeah. Oh, that happens.
No.
That can happen.
James Marsden. Sex Drive, which that movie I think stars that guy who was like on the later seasons of The Office who played Clark.
Clark Duke. Yeah.
Oh, is his real name Clark Duke?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that guy? Hey, by the way, I was gonna put Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as the fake answer. But James Marsden is actually in that. And in the extended cut, he plays Burt Reynolds.
Oh, Jesus.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
I never saw
was
the extended
everywhere. Everywhere.
I don't know. Maybe James Marsden's cool, guys. I don't know where I stand on James Marsden. People make mistakes in their life. I mean, nobody's perfect.
Some
Nobody's
people
perfect.
go on reality shows on Fox. Like, people make mistakes.
Yeah. Some people dance on TV, Question 3. Matt's up 1-0. Got You Where I Want You reached the top 5 on the Modern Rock Tracks chart on December 19th, 1998, which was the 26th birthday of which actress and activist who was known as TV's Samantha Maselli from 1984 until 1992.
Don't Google it, Matt. You're cheating.
I'm not.
I see it in the reflection of your glasses.
But I'm gonna say multiple choice on this one, possibly.
Do you need the multiple choice,
100%.
Rishi? A, Danica McKellar. B, Salil Moon Fry. C, Alyssa Milano. Or D, Lisa Bonet.
Flies. I'm gonna go with C.
Yeah, damn it! That's the
Alyssa
only one I
Milano.
knew. She was in the Josie video by Blink. She's
That's how you know her? You don't know her as Samantha Maselli from Who's the Boss?
I do now.
I also didn't know her from Who's the Boss, but that seemed like the person who made the most sense in that year frame.
That's just before my time, dude. Just before my time.
Oh. Hey, you know what else is crazy about Alyssa Milano? A little Pittsburgh trivia for you, Rishi. I know you're a Pens fan, but do you remember in real early life, the first Penguins game I ever went to when I was a kid, they had a player named Robbie Brown.
44, baby.
Yeah, 40. Yeah, you know Robbie Brown. He used to date Alyssa Milano.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. I just read the Mark Hoppus autobiography, and Melissa Milano, after that video, slipped her phone number to him and said, call me, and he never called her.
What?
Dude,
what?
Insane.
He also went on a date with Melissa Joan Hart. I'm not sure if you saw when that article made the rounds.
It's in the autobiography, too, yeah.
Wow.
Damn it, I can't get a question right.
It's 2-0. It's okay, Rishi. You got to get one without a multiple choice, and you'll be good.
There's no shame in losing to me.
We still got 4 questions to go.
You know
It's
what? I
2-0
knew humility
Matt.
was your best quality.
In the same month that Got You Where I Want You hit its peak on the charts in December of 1998, this rapper, known for the song Lucid Dreams, was born.
Oh, Flies.
Flies.
Go ahead,
Juice
Matt.
WRLD.
You got it. Rishi, did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. R.I.P. to Juice WRLD.
I know.
Matt takes a commanding lead, 4-0.
Does he win most of these?
He's been
Coin
kind of
flip.
sucking lately, to be honest.
Not
All right.
sucking. They've been close. I've been losing
Okay.
like 5-4.
Are you guys like avid trivia people?
I am, yes.
Risha,
Very
we
much
may
so.
be working on a trivia game for One Hit Thunder.
Yeah.
So.
Question 5. The day before Got You Where I Want You hit its peak on the charts in December of 1998, this Nora Ephron-directed rom-com was sent to theaters.
Oh, 1998, Nora Ephron. What
Nora
did she do?
Ephron?
If you give me multiple choice, I know I'm going to get this. Risha, do you have any clue, or can we go multiple choice?
Yeah.
Multiple choice.
Your choices are A, You've Got Mail, B, Michael, C, Mixed Nuts, or D, Sleepless in Seattle.
Flies.
Rishi got you that time, Matt.
Okay.
I don't even know the answer, so I'm just trying to get a guess here. It's either A or D.
Well, you got to pick one of them.
You got to pick one.
D.
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect. It's A.
It's A. I gave you guys a hint. I said was sent to theaters.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, as soon as I tried to not show it on my face, but as soon as you said you got mail, I was
Why?
like,
Because you
that's
saw that I was looking at you for your reaction?
Yeah, I think so. I stared down.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Rishi, you're going to get a chance. If you can get without the multiple choice, these last 2 questions, the without the multiple choice is worth 3.
Okay.
So you have a shot. 2 questions left.
I appreciate you.
In December of 1998, at the peak of this song, Got You Where I Want You, I was living in the dorms and attending my first year of college at which university?
Flies.
Go ahead.
You went to Pitt.
That is incorrect.
What the fuck, dude? Didn't you go to Pitt?
I hung out at Pitt a lot.
Multiple choice.
Your choices are A, University of Pittsburgh, B, Robert Morris University,
Bullshit. I already...
C, Duquesne University, or D, Point Park College.
Was it C?
Yes, it was C. I went to Duquesne.
Dude, did Steve go to Pitt?
Yes.
Did PJ went to Duquesne?
Yep.
Paul started at CCAC?
I can't remember. He kind of, as soon as he graduated high school, we started touring and stuff. I don't know if he went to...
Yeah, he was Riverview grad. I can tell you the high schools you guys went to. How did I fuck that up?
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right, well, let's
Well,
make
Matt
this next
won,
one
though.
Look at
7
that
points.
humility.
We'll try to get Rishi a point. We got 1 question left. Matt won, but we'll try to get Rishi a point here. Chris Goss, the producer of The Fly's Got You Where I Want You, has produced 2 albums for Melissa Oftermar, who played bass in what LA band from 1994 until 1999?
Flies.
Go ahead.
Hole?
You got it.
Go.
Nice job. You got 3 points.
Damn.
That was good, man. Good job. You still lost, but that was good. That was a good. You redeemed yourself a little bit.
It's
Listen,
about experience, Chris. All right.
It doesn't matter whether Rishi wins or loses, because Homeboy is running 4-Chord Music Festival, which is cooler than anything we've ever done on this podcast.
No, not
and I believe
cool.
tickets are available still, Rishi. How about you tell people about this amazing music festival that's celebrating, what, its 10th year now?
11th year.
11th year now.
Yeah. 4-Chord Music Fest, homegrown, independent. 100% Fiercely Independent Music Festival, September 13th, 14th, just south of Pittsburgh in Washington, PA, at the their minor league baseball stadium, now titled EQT Park. Really excited about it. We got Punchline playing on day 2. We have Eternal Boy, my band, playing on day 1.
That's the two most important things to note about this festival.
Dude, Pittsburgh is the most important. So,
that is right.
Blink-182 is headlining on day 1 with Jimmy Eat World and Hot Mulligan and Bowling for Soup and State Champs and Homegrown, a band that I am very excited for.
That was one of the bands I was going to say, Rishi, like bands that are like huge to us.
I will be doing merch for Punchline on Sunday.
Nice.
And I was like, man, I kind of need to go Saturday just to see Homegrown. Like that's like the most exciting one. I'm so excited for Homegrown.
Nice. Yeah. And then day 2, the day Punchline is playing. It's AFI, a band called Jawbreaker, which for me is one of the. It's like the third or fourth like band that solidified my love for punk music.
Really?
Yeah, I love Jawbreaker. My sister had Dear You, years before, I got into Blink, really first. But then I remember in the the Urethra Chronicles 2 DVD, Mark and Tom are on their tour bus listening to Dear You. And my sister was like, oh, that's Dear You. Like, that's like, here's the record. And I was really into that. So then we've got Alkaline Trio playing as well. Say Anything, The Wonder Years, Face to Face. It's gonna be cool. Tickets are moving quick, so I would recommend people getting their hands on those and come support. 100% independence, devoid.
What
of
about Eternal Boy? What else is going on
entities.
with your band? Check out Eternal Boy, everybody. And what do you guys have going on?
Yeah, so Eternal Boy, we're going to UK in June to go and tour with a band called Driveways, who are from Boston, also playing 4-chord on day 1. Nice. We're going to announce a tour in the next month for the month of August. Nice. We had a new record came out 6 months ago called Little Room to Breathe. And Chris, it's just the grind, my man. You know what it is.
I know that life, Rishi.
Yeah, and I hope Matt, you come to both days, and Chris, obviously you're playing, so you're going to be there, and you guys should do a live podcast there at the festival.
Let's figure
Matt
it out.
Wants
we'll
to do
find
that.
something. I want to do a whole ass podcast tent of just
do it,
podcasts
dude.
all day long, bringing different people.
I think it'd be awesome. You guys are always welcome. Only if you get a tattoo at 4-chord, Matt.
No.
That's the payment.
I've never gotten a tattoo in my life. I don't know if I can do.
You don't have any tattoos?
I know. I've
Me
never
neither.
drank, never did drugs, never had a tattoo.
Dude, I've never drank. I don't do drugs. Well, it depends what kind of drugs you're talking about. And then I don't have any tattoos either. I'm scared of needles. But
same.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear, Rishi, is needles. Like when I had to get my COVID shot, do you know about what had to happen for me to get a COVID shot?
They had to put you out. Don't tell me.
My friends and my girlfriend planned without me, scheduled the thing, came in the morning and said, hey, get in the car, and drove me to Somerset because this was like early and having the vaccines at certain places, and took me there, held my hand, like... not that I wanted the vaccine. I'm just afraid of needles, like I was so afraid of needles that this is how bad I am with medical. Like, I wish it wasn't that way, but like, I can't. If
Don't
I
you
ever
have a tattoo?
Yes,
No,
I do have tattoos, but it's different, man. It's different.
I didn't even know you had tattoos, honestly, Chris.
I got them so long ago. I have a couple. They're dumb.
On your forearm? Do you have one on your forearm?
No, I got like a globe up on my arm
right.
and a palm tree on the back of my arm. I got them when I was like 20.
Yeah.
Like.
I just never see Chris's arms. I've never seen them.
There's too much hair on them. Okay, before we wrap up shop here, we got to decide the Flies, Thunder or Blunder or Hinder, or we always forget to do Hinder or Greenwood. So we have 4 levels, Rishi.
I'm sorry, Thunder, Blunder, or what?
Hinder and Greenwoods. So Hinder was the worst
like
band we've
Hinder.
ever discussed.
Hinder is a level below a Blunder, and then Greenwood, based on Lee Greenwood, God bless the USA, is as bad as it gets.
Yeah, he's the worst person. I feel like Greenwood is like they are a terrible human ranking, and Hinder is like this is like one of the worst bands I've ever heard in my entire life.
Are these personal rankings, or are we using your criteria as a litmus?
You can do whatever your personal rankings are.
thunder, blunder, hinder,
It's
or Greenwood?
definitely not a thunder. I don't think it's as bad as the abysmal below the ground ones. So it's a blunder.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I was leaning towards blunder with weird tendencies to almost go to the level of hinder on the musical scale of just not ever wanting to listen to any of these songs. But I think I'm pretty content with just keeping it at a blunder.
I can't wait to hear Chris's. I can't wait.
He's gonna give it thunder. He's like, this is the best thing ever.
No, I think, oh man, I think blunder is appropriate. Their music, I don't know. If you told me, would you rather listen to Hinder or The Flies? Well, yeah, no, this song is better this song we're talking about is better than any Hinder song.
I was gonna say, do you really want to hear my voice?
Yeah, no, we can't go that low. So, yeah, I'll go blunder on The Flies. I think these guys might be decent guys. I know we really took a lot of people to task in this episode, but in general, I
still like you 311, just for the record.
You guys bring up. You guys dig it though. I mean, you guys are dig into the entire song. So, I mean, you guys are judging the song also outside of the song.
Yes. Oh, for sure. I mean, listen. Got You Where I Want You as an individual song, I would still give it a blunder.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty uninteresting song. It has a couple catchy parts to it. But overall, it's a pretty uninspired, uninteresting song. They stumbled across a couple catchy things in this song, but I don't know. Just in general, it don't impress me much.
Agreed.
This has been One Hit Thunder. One Hit Thunder is hosted by Chris Ofalios of the band Punchline and produced by Matt Kelly of Geekscape.net. Underneath me, you're hearing Found Out About You from the Punchline EP Songs from '94. Visit punchlinemusic.com for any upcoming news on the band. Our podcast is on Patreon now. Find us at patreon.com/OHT podcast for early access to episodes, bonus conversations, and a chance to vote on future songs for us to cover. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on any podcasting app, and tune in next week for more One Hit Thunder.
You struck dead. Did you love me only in my head? Well, the things you said and did to me, they seem to come so easily. The love I thought I'd won you give for free.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want is a great feeling. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.